The slap echoed through Terminal B LAX like a gunshot. My head snapped to the side, my designer silk blouse suddenly soaked with scalding coffee, and somewhere in the chaos of pain and humiliation, I heard the collective gasp of 100 strangers. My sister Jessica stood over me, her perfectly manicured hand still raised, her face twisted with rage. "Security! Call security!" someone shouted. But the words that cut deeper than any physical blow came from my own mother, standing 3 feet away with her arms crossed. "You embarrassed your sister Rose. Look what you made her do." That was the moment everything shattered. 28 years of being the good daughter, the responsible one, the ATM machine with a heartbeat, all came crashing down in the middle of the busiest airport in California. And you know what the worst part was? Half the terminal had their phones out, recording every second of my humiliation for TikTok. But before I tell you how I turned this nightmare into the best decision of my life, do me a favor. If you have ever felt taken for granted by the people who are supposed to love you, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to hear how this story ends. Because trust me, the revenge is sweeter than anything you can imagine. Drop a comment telling me if you have ever been the family ATM. Now let me take you back to where this all started. 3 weeks earlier, I was sitting in my corner office in downtown Los Angeles, reviewing Q4 marketing projections for the tech company I worked for. I had climbed my way up to marketing director by age 28, pulling in a solid 6-figure salary. My coworkers respected me. My boss valued my input. Clients requested me specifically. At work, I was competent, confident, powerful. But the moment I stepped through the door of my overpriced studio apartment in Koreatown, my phone would start buzzing with texts from my family, and that confident woman would shrink into someone I barely recognized. Mum had texted that morning, "Your father and I need a vacation. You should take us somewhere nice. You make good money. It is the least you can do after everything we have done for you." There was no please, no question mark. Just the assumption that my money was their money, that my hard-earned paycheck existed solely to fund their lifestyle. And, like always, I felt that familiar twist in my stomach, half resentment and half guilt, because somewhere deep down I still believed them. Maybe I did owe them. Maybe I was selfish for wanting to save for my own future. I called Mum back during my lunch break. "What did you have in mind?" I asked, already dreading the answer. "Hawaii," she said without hesitation. "Your sister has been stressed. She needs a break." Jessica, stressed. My 24-year-old sister, who had never held a job for more than 3 months, who spent her days taking selfies and dreaming of becoming an influencer, who still lived in our parents' house. Rent-free. That Jessica. But I did not say any of that. I never did. "How much are we talking?" I asked carefully. She did not miss a beat. Business class tickets for all 4 of us. A 5-star resort. Maybe 2 weeks? I can send you some links. My hand tightened around my phone. "Mum, that is going to cost at least $30,000. I have been saving for a down payment on a condo." There was a long pause, the kind she used when she wanted me to feel guilty. "Rose family comes first. You can always buy a condo later. Your sister needs this. She has been through so much. Through what I wanted to scream. Through an endless parade of failed YouTube channels and abandoned Instagram accounts. Through the heartbreak of not becoming TikTok famous overnight. But I heard myself saying, 'Let me look at my finances and get back to you.' That night, I sat at my tiny dining table laptop, open, staring at my savings account. 3 years of careful budgeting, of packing lunches and skipping happy hours and saying no to weekend trips with friends. $42,000. It was not enough for a down payment in Los Angeles, not even close, but it was a start. It was proof that I was building something that I was not going to rent forever, that my life had direction beyond funding everyone else's dreams. My phone lit up with a text from Jessica. "Mum told me about Hawaii. I am so excited. I already started a Pinterest board for outfit ideas. Thank you so much, sis. No question about whether I had agreed. Just assumption, entitlement, expectation." I stared at those words until they blurred. When had I become this person? The one everyone took from, but no one gave to the one whose feelings did not matter, whose dreams could wait, whose worth was measured only in dollar signs. But I pushed those thoughts away like I always did. Maybe this trip would be different. Maybe if I did this one big thing, they would finally see how much I sacrificed for them. Maybe they would appreciate me. So I opened the travel website and started searching for flights. The next morning, I called Shweta's mum back and told her I would book the trip. I could hear the smile in her voice. I knew you would have come through, Rose. You always do. She did not say, thank you. She never did. It took me 3 days to find flights and a hotel that would not completely drain my savings. I settled on a resort in Maui, 4 business class, tickets, a 2-bedroom suite. Total damage, $28,000. I felt physically sick clicking the confirm button, watching years of discipline evaporate in seconds. Jessica was thrilled, posting countdowns on her Instagram story. 10 days until paradise with my amazing family. So blessed. She tagged me in exactly 0 posts. My father called to discuss the itinerary. Make sure you book activities, he said. Snorkeling, helicopter tours, that luau thing. You know your mother likes to be pampered. I added another $2,000 in excursions to my credit card. At work, my boss noticed I seemed distracted. Everything okay, Rose? You have been off your game lately. I forced a smile. Just planning a family vacation. Stressful, but exciting. She patted my shoulder. Family is everything. You are lucky to have them. Lucky. The word followed me home that night. Was I lucky, or was I trapped in a pattern I could not see clearly because I was too close to it? My best friend Melanie had tried to warn me over brunch the previous weekend. Rose, they are using you, you know that, right? When was the last time they did something nice for you? When was the last time they even asked how you were doing? I had defended them automatically. They are my family. Mel, it is different. Family takes care of each other. She had given me a long look. Taking care of each other goes both ways, babe. Right now, it only goes one way. And that way leads straight to your bank account. But I did not want to hear it. Admitting she was right meant admitting I had wasted years being a doormat. It meant acknowledging that the people who were supposed to love me unconditionally only loved me conditionally as long as I kept paying. So, I changed the subject and ordered another mimosa and pretended everything was fine. The week before the trip, Jessica asked me to come over to help her pack. When I arrived at my parents' house, the house I had helped pay the mortgage on for the last 5 years, I found her bedroom floor covered in designer shopping bags. Where did all this come from? I asked, picking up a dress with the tag still on. Nordstrom Saks Revolve, she said casually, not looking up from her phone. I needed a new wardrobe for the trip. For the content. Something cold settled in my chest. Jessica, how much did you spend? She shrugged. I do not know. Like 5,000 maybe. I charged it to the card. The card. The supplementary credit card on my account that I'd given her 2 years ago for emergencies. Define emergency, I said, my voice tight. She finally looked at me annoyed. Rose, I am trying to build my brand. I need to look good on camera. This is an investment in what you do not even have 1,000 followers. Her face flushed. That is because I have not had the right content. This Hawaii trip is going to change everything. I am going to blow up, trust me. I wanted to scream. I wanted to grab those bags and march them back to every store. But I did not. Because she was my baby sister, and our parents had always told me to look out for her, to help her, to give her chances I never got. So I swallowed my anger and helped her fold her new designer wardrobe and pretended my resentment was not building like pressure in a volcano. 2 days before the flight, my mother called with another request. Rose, honey, I was thinking. That hotel you booked only has 2 bedrooms. Your father and I need our privacy. Maybe you and Jessica can share. I closed my eyes and counted to 10. Mum, I am paying for this entire trip. I would really like my own space. There was that pause again. that weaponized silence. Well, if it is that important to you, I just thought you would want to be generous. There it was, the implication that wanting anything for myself was selfish, that boundaries were stinginess, that I should be grateful for the opportunity to give. Fine, I heard myself say. Jessica and I will share. Wonderful Mum chirped, her mood instantly bright now that she had gotten her way. You are such a good daughter, Rose. See you at LAX on Friday morning, 6 a.m. sharp. Do not be late. I hung up and stared at the wall of my apartment. A good daughter. That phrase had ruled my entire life. Good daughters did not complain. Good daughters put family first. Good daughters sacrificed their own happiness to keep everyone else comfortable. I had been performing the role of good daughter for so long, I had forgotten there was a person underneath, a person with wants and needs and dreams that did not revolve around managing everyone else's emotions. Friday morning arrived grey and gloomy, typical June weather in Los Angeles. I had barely slept, anxiety twisting my stomach into knots. I loaded my suitcase into my Honda Civic and drove to LAX, the city still dark and quiet, at 5 in the morning. I found my family in the international terminal, Jessica filming herself with a ring light at 5:30 in the morning, my parents standing nearby looking impatient. You are late, my father said by way of greeting, even though I was 20 minutes early. Traffic, I lied, not wanting to start an argument. I pulled out the 4 passports I had been safeguarding and the printed boarding passes. Jessica did not even acknowledge me, too busy adjusting her makeup for her phone camera. Hey guys, Jessica here coming to you live from LAX. About to board this incredible trip to Maui business class, baby. She panned the camera around, carefully avoiding me. Feeling so blessed right now. Manifest your dreams, you know. I wheeled everyone's luggage to the check-in counter, including the 3 massive bags Jessica had packed full of outfit changes. The airline agent frowned at her bags. These are significantly over the weight limit. That is going to be $450 in overweight fees. Jessica looked at me expectantly. I handed over my credit card, feeling that now familiar numbness. $450 for clothes she would wear once for photos and then probably return. After we checked in, my mother wanted Starbucks. Your father needs his coffee, she said, as if I had suggested he go without. I joined the long line and ordered 4 drinks, $17. As I waited, my phone buzzed with a notification. Your credit card ending in 4722 has been charged $399 by Hilton Hotels. My heart stopped. I opened my banking app. The charge was for a room upgrade. Presidential suite 1 night. What the hell? I found Jessica by the windows filming the planes. What is this charge? I asked, showing her my phone. She barely glanced at it. Oh, yeah, I upgraded my room for the last night. Chad is going to meet me there. I need somewhere nice for content. I stared at her. Who the hell is Chad? And why would you use my card without asking? She rolled her eyes. Chad is this guy I have been talking to. He is flying in from San Diego. And you gave me the card for trip expenses. This is trip-related. This is not what we discussed, I said, my voice rising. And who is paying for Chad's flight? Jessica's expression turned cold. You are so dramatic, Rose. It is 1 night. You make like 6 figures. Stop being cheap. Cheap. That word cracked something inside me. I had just spent $30,000 on this trip, and I was cheap because I objected to surprise charges for my sister's Instagram boyfriend. I opened my mouth to respond when my mother appeared with the coffee. What is going on? Jessica immediately switched to victim mode. Rose is mad that I am bringing Chad. She is trying to ruin my trip. My mother's face hardened. Rose, do not start. Not here. Not now. You are embarrassing us. I looked at my father, hoping for backup. He just shook his head. Your mother is right. Stop making a scene. And that is when I saw him. A man in his late 20s, good-looking, in that deliberately casual way, expensive sneakers and a designer backpack. He walked up and kissed Jessica on the cheek. You must be the sister, he said, extending his hand. Thanks for the trip. Jessica told me you are loaded. I stared at his hand like it was a snake. Jessica, we need to talk. Now. I pulled her aside, but she jerked away from me. What, Rose? What now? I kept my voice low but firm. I am not paying for Chad's ticket. If he wants to come, he needs to pay his own way. Jessica's eyes went wide with theatrical shock. Are you serious right now? You are going to humiliate me in front of him? She raised her voice deliberately. Rose is refusing to buy Chad a ticket. After I invited him. After I promised him. My parents rushed over my mother's face, pinched with anger. Rose Morrison, you fix this right now. How dare you embarrass your sister like this? I looked around at all of them. My sister with her fake, wounded expression. Chad with his entitled smirk. My parents with their automatic assumption that I was the problem. And I realized with sudden crystalline clarity that nothing I did would ever be enough. I could give them everything I had, and they would still want more. They would still blame me. They would still make me the villain. Chad's ticket would cost another $5,000 if I bought it at the airport. $5,000 for a stranger my sister had known for maybe a month. I took a breath and said the word I should have said years ago. No. The silence was deafening. Jessica's mouth dropped open. No. What do you mean? No, I mean no. I repeated, my voice steady now. I am not buying him a ticket. If you want him to come, he can pay for his own flight. Jessica's face turned red. You are so selfish. You always do this. You always ruin everything. She looked at Chad. I am so sorry, baby. My sister is being a total bitch. He shrugged. It is cool. Just get her to pay for it. She obviously has the money. That was the moment Jessica lunged for my phone. If you will not pay, I will do it myself. She grabbed it out of my hand and started swiping, trying to get into my banking app. I grabbed it back and we struggled for a moment, a ridiculous tug of war in the middle of the terminal. And then it happened. The slap that would change everything. Jessica pulled her hand back and struck me across the face with all the force of her spoiled, entitled rage. The crack echoed. My head snapped to the side. My cheek exploded in pain. And then, for good measure, she grabbed the coffee from my other hand and threw it directly at my chest. The hot liquid soaked through my silk blouse, burning my skin. I gasped, stumbling backward. The terminal went silent. 100 strangers stopped what they were doing. Phones came out. Someone said, "Oh my God, did you see that?" Jessica stood there breathing hard, her face still twisted with anger. You deserved that, she hissed. You deserved it for being such a selfish bitch. I waited for my parents to react, to defend me, to at least check if I was okay. Instead, my mother rushed to Jessica. Baby, your nail. You broke your nail. Oh, honey, let me see. My father turned to me, his face hard. This is your fault, Rose. You pushed her to this. You made a scene. Now apologize to your sister so we can get on this plane. I stood there, coffee, dripping off my clothes, my face throbbing, my eyes stinging with tears I refused to shed. And I understood finally truly that these people did not love me. They loved what I could do for them. They loved my bank account. They loved having someone to blame. But me, the actual person, the woman who worked 60-hour weeks and skipped meals to save money and lay awake at night worrying about disappointing them, that person was invisible. A man stepped forward from the small crowd that had gathered. He was tall, professionally dressed, with kind eyes behind expensive glasses. I recorded all of that, he said, quietly holding up his phone. That was assault. You should call security. My father stepped toward him aggressively. Mind your own business. This is a family matter. The man did not back down. Assault in an airport is everyone's business. He looked at me. Are you okay? Do you need help? I wanted to say yes. I wanted to tell him that I was not okay, that I had not been okay for years, but my mother cut in. "We are fine, thank you. Rose is just being dramatic. She does this for attention." The man looked skeptical, but stepped back, still holding his phone. "If you change your mind," he said to me, "I am Liam Chen. I am an attorney. This is my card." He pressed a business card into my palm before my family could stop him. I mumbled something and walked away, heading for the nearest bathroom. I could hear my mother calling after me, "Rose, do not be ridiculous. We have a flight to catch." But I kept walking. In the bathroom, I stood at the sink and looked at myself in the mirror. My left cheek was bright red, already starting to swell. My $300 blouse was ruined brown stains spreading across the cream silk. My mascara had run, creating dark tracks down my face. I looked like someone who had been assaulted by their own family in public. My phone buzzed. A bank notification. "Your credit card ending in 4722 has been charged $2,800 by Hilton Hotels Maui." Another upgrade. Jessica must have gotten into my phone during the scuffle, must have memorized my banking password from all the times I had let her borrow my phone. She had upgraded Chad and herself to the presidential suite for the entire stay. I stared at that notification, and something inside me, something that had been bending and bending for 28 years, finally snapped. I was done. I was done being the ATM, done being the verbal punching bag, done lighting myself on fire to keep everyone else warm. They wanted to treat me like an outsider. Fine. I would show them what it really meant to be cut off. My hands were steady as I opened my banking app. First, I reported my credit card stolen and had it immediately deactivated. Every charge Jessica had made, including the presidential suite, would be reversed and investigated. Then, I called into my bank's fraud line and reported the supplementary card as stolen as well. That card was frozen within seconds. Next, I opened the airline app. The tickets were all under my name. I was the primary passenger, and according to the airline's policy, I had full control over the booking. I cancelled 3 tickets. My parents, Jessica. The app asked if I was sure. I had never been more sure of anything in my life. Ticket cancellation confirmed. Remaining passenger, Rose Morrison. I used the credit from the cancelled tickets to upgrade myself. Not to business class, to first class. On an earlier flight that left in 45 minutes. Then I called the Hilton in Maui. "I am Rose Morrison," I said calmly. "I need to cancel a reservation." The agent pulled it up. 2-bedroom suite checking in today. That is the one. Cancel it, please. But keep my name on file. I am going to book something else. The agent paused. "Ma'am, there is already a room upgrade charge on this reservation. That has been reversed and is under investigation for fraud," I said. "Please note that I am the only authorized user on that account. Anyone else claiming to be me should be denied." The reservation was cancelled. I booked myself a new room. Ocean View Suite. 1 bedroom, 1 guest, just me. In the bathroom mirror, I looked at myself again. The woman staring back was different. Her jaw was set, her eyes were hard. This woman was done apologizing for taking up space. I washed my face, fixed my makeup as best I could, and walked out of that bathroom like I was walking into a business meeting. Because this was business. The business of reclaiming my life. I walked past my family, who were still gathered near the coffee shop, arguing about something. I walked straight to the first-class lounge check-in. The attendant smiled. "Welcome, Miss Morrison. Right this way." The lounge was quiet, elegant, peaceful. I ordered a glass of champagne and sat by the window, watching planes take off. My phone started ringing. "Mum." I declined the call. It rang again. "Dad." Declined. "Jessica." Declined. They called 17 times in the next 20 minutes. On the 18th call, I answered. "Where the hell are you?" my mother shrieked. "We are boarding soon." I took a sip of champagne. I am in the first-class lounge. There was a confused pause. What do you mean? We are in business class. Not anymore, I said calmly. I cancelled your tickets. The explosion on the other end was immediate. You did what? You cancelled our tickets. Rose Morrison, you get back here right now and fix this. I do not think so, I said. You all made it very clear that I am selfish and cheap. So, I decided to stop funding your vacation. My vacation, however, is going to be wonderful. Jessica grabbed the phone from Mum. You psycho bitch! You cannot do this! Actually, I can. The tickets were in my name, my money, my decision. But the hotel, she sputtered. I have reservations. Had reservations, I corrected. Cancelled those too. Except mine. I am staying in a lovely ocean view suite by myself. You are insane, Jessica screamed. I am calling the police. For what? Cancelling tickets I paid for? Good luck with that. My father got on the line. Rose, this is unacceptable. You will not disrespect this family. If you do not get out here and fix this immediately, you are no longer our daughter. The words should have hurt. A week ago, they would have destroyed me. But sitting in that lounge, champagne in hand, I just felt relief. If being your daughter means being your ATM, then I quit. Do not contact me again. And I hung up. I blocked all 3 numbers. Then I posted a message on the family group chat. To anyone wondering, I am taking a solo vacation. I will not be paying for family expenses anymore. I need to focus on my own life. Please respect my decision and give me space. I left the group chat before anyone could respond. 20 minutes later, as I was finishing my champagne, I heard a commotion outside the lounge, voices raised, security being called. I walked to the entrance and looked out. My family was at the gate, arguing with airline staff. Jessica was crying mascara running down her face, filming herself. This is so messed up, you guys. My sister just abandoned us at the airport. She is literally insane. My mother was yelling at a patient gate agent. My daughter booked these tickets. There must be some mistake. You need to let us on that plane. I am sorry, Mom, but these tickets have been cancelled by the primary passenger. The gate agent kept her professional smile. You will need to purchase new tickets if you want to fly today. Purchase? My father looked genuinely confused. With what? We do not have that kind of money. That is when Jessica saw me. She pointed, her face contorted with rage. There she is. Rose, get out here right now. You fix this. Security was approaching. I stepped back into the lounge and spoke quietly to the attendant. Those people outside, I do not know them. If they try to come in here, please call security. She nodded understanding immediately. Of course, Ms. Morrison. Is everything all right? Family drama, I said. I am handling it. She gave me a sympathetic smile. Say no more. We have a private boarding area if you would feel more comfortable. That would be wonderful, thank you. She led me through a side corridor to a quiet space where first-class passengers could board directly. I sat there listening to the distant sound of my family arguing, security getting involved, and I felt nothing. No guilt, no sadness, just a bone-deep exhaustion finally beginning to lift. My flight boarded. I walked down the jet bridge, showed my boarding pass, and stepped into the plane. The first-class cabin was spacious and quiet. I found my seat 2A window. The flight attendant appeared immediately. May I offer you a beverage before takeoff? Ms. Morrison, champagne, please. She returned with a glass and a warm towel. As I settled into the leather seat, I heard a familiar voice. Well, this is a surprise. I looked up. It was Liam, the man from the terminal, the lawyer. He was standing in the aisle looking amused. Seat 2B, he said, gesturing to the seat next to mine. Looks like we are neighbours. I could not help but laugh. Of all the seats on all the planes. He sat down and extended his hand properly this time. Liam Chen, corporate attorney, occasional good Samaritan, and apparently your flight companion. Rose Morrison, I said, shaking his hand. Marketing director, recovering doormat, and family fugitive. He smiled. I saw what you did back there. Very impressive. Most people would have crumbled. I almost did, I admitted. But then I realised something. They were never going to stop taking unless I stopped giving. He nodded seriously. I do a lot of work with family law cases. What you just did took real courage. I pulled out his business card. You said you are an attorney. How hard is it to get a restraining order? That depends on the circumstances. But based on what I witnessed and recorded, you have assault, financial exploitation, and harassment. That is a solid foundation. The flight attendants were preparing for takeoff. Liam pulled out his own phone. Give me your email. I will send you the video footage and my contact information. If your family tries to contact you or shows up at your home, you have options. Thank you, I said and meant it. For what it is worth, he said as the plane began to taxi, you made the right choice. People like that do not change. They just find new ways to manipulate. Have you dealt with this kind of thing before? All the time, he said. I grew up with a narcissistic parent myself. It took me until my late 20s to cut contact. Best decision I ever made. The plane lifted off. Los Angeles fell away beneath us, getting smaller and smaller until it was just a sprawl of lights against dark hills. I watched until we were above the clouds and the city was gone completely. So Liam said, what is the plan for Maui Relaxation Adventure? Honestly, I said I have no idea. This whole trip was supposed to be for them. I do not even know what I want to do. Well, he said, I am there for a conference, but I have free time in the evenings. If you want a dining companion or someone to explore with no pressure. I smiled. That actually sounds nice. He ordered scotch. I ordered more champagne. We talked for an hour about everything and nothing. Work, travel, books, the absurdity of family dynamics. It was easy. Comfortable. For the first time in weeks, I felt like myself. Halfway through the flight, my phone buzzed. I had turned it back on, though I kept it on silent. An email from an unknown address. The subject line was, from Mum. I almost deleted it, but curiosity won. Rose, I cannot believe you would abandon your family like this, after everything we have done for you. We raised you, fed you, clothed you, we gave you everything. And this is how you repay us, by leaving us stranded. Jessica is devastated. She had to cancel all her plans. Your father had to call his brother to wire us money for flights home. You have embarrassed us beyond belief. When you are done with this tantrum, you owe us an apology. And you owe us $30,000 for this failed trip. We will be sending you a bill. Do not think you can just cut us off. We are your family. You are obligated to take care of us. That is what family means. Mum. I read it twice. Then I forwarded it to Liam. He read it and whistled low. That is textbook manipulation. Guilt-tripping financial threats, obligation language. Classic narcissistic parent playbook. What should I do? Do not respond, he said immediately. Any response, even a defensive one, gives them ammunition. Let your lawyer handle communication from now on. You are a lawyer, I pointed out. I know a guy, he said with a grin. Someone who specializes in this stuff. I will make an introduction when we land. The rest of the flight passed in a pleasant blur. We watched a movie together, commented on the meal service, laughed at the absurd situation we both found ourselves in. When we landed in Maui, the warm air hit us like a wall of peace. I collected my bag and walked out into paradise. No one to please, no one to manage, just me. Liam and I shared a cab into the resort area. He was staying at a hotel nearby. Before we parted ways, he put his number in my phone. I meant what I said. If you need anything, legal advice, dinner company, or just someone to talk to, call me. I checked into my hotel alone. The ocean view suite was stunning, all white linens and blue ocean and palm trees swaying in the breeze. I stood on the balcony and breathed, really breathed. For the first time in years, there was no knot in my stomach, no anxiety about checking my phone, no dread about what demand would come next. I spent the first 2 days doing absolutely nothing. I slept in, ordered room service, read a book by the pool, went to the spa, took a sunset walk on the beach. It was glorious. On the third day, Liam texted. His conference had a free evening. Would I like to have dinner? We met at a restaurant on the beach, the kind of place with tables in the sand and tiki torches and fresh fish caught that morning. We talked for hours. He told me about his work, his own journey to setting boundaries with his family, the freedom that came with choosing your own path. I told him everything. The years of being the family ATM, the constant guilt, the moment I finally snapped. He listened without judgment, nodding in all the right places. You know what the hardest part is, he said, not to the cutting off. It is the aftermath, the doubt, the voice in your head asking if you were too harsh, if you should give them another chance. I nodded. I keep waiting to feel guilty, but I do not. Is that wrong? It is the healthiest thing I have heard all day, he said. That lack of guilt means you made the right choice. Over the next week, Liam and I fell into an easy friendship. We explored the island together, hiked to waterfalls, snorkeled in crystal clear water, watched the sunset from a volcano crater. He introduced me to his colleagues, smart and interesting people who treated me like a person, not a wallet. For the first time in my adult life, I felt seen. On my last night in Maui, we had drinks at my hotel bar. Liam handed me a folder. This is from my friend, the family law specialist. It is a draft restraining order and cease and desist letter. If your family continues to harass you, this gives you legal protection. I flipped through the pages. It was real, official. I have to admit, I said slowly, part of me keeps thinking they will apologise, that they will realise what they lost and change. Liam's expression was gentle but firm. Rose people like that do not change. They double down. They play victim. They tell everyone you are the villain. You have to protect yourself. I knew he was right. Over the week, I had received 47 emails from various family members and family friends, all variations on the same theme. Rose, how could you? Rose, family is forever. Rose, you are breaking your mother's heart. Not one person asked if I was okay. Not one person acknowledged that I had been assaulted in public. It was all about their feelings, their embarrassment, their inconvenience. I signed the papers. Liam witnessed my signature. You are doing the right thing, he said. I know I said, and I finally meant it. The plane ride home felt different. I was not the same woman who had flown out a week ago. I had been burned by coffee and slapped by my sister and stripped of my illusions. But I had also been reborn. I had chosen myself, maybe for the first time ever. Back in Los Angeles, I returned to my studio apartment. It was small and cramped and still overpriced, but it was mine. I made coffee in my own kitchen, slept in my own bed, woke up to silence. No demands, no guilt trips, no one needing anything from me. Work was a welcome distraction. My boss praised a campaign I had worked on before the trip. My team wanted to hear about my vacation. I showed them photos of waterfalls and beaches, left out the family drama. I was good at compartmentalizing now. 2 weeks after I got back, the papers were served. My family received the cease and desist letter and the restraining order application. The explosion was immediate. My father showed up at my apartment building. I watched from my window as he pounded on the door, yelling my name. I called the police. They escorted him away with a warning. Jessica launched a social media campaign against me. She posted the video of the slap carefully edited to remove the part where she grabbed my phone and threw coffee on me. The caption read, "When your sister refuses to help family." Some people are just selfish. But the internet is not stupid. People found the full video, the one Liam had posted anonymously, to a legal advocacy forum. They saw Jessica attacking me. They saw my parents defending her. They saw me soaked in coffee face red from the slap standing alone. The narrative flipped. Jessica went from sympathetic victim to entitled brat. Comments poured in. She slapped her sister over money girl bye. The parents just watched. This whole family is toxic. Rose, if you are reading this, you did the right thing. Jessica's influencer dreams died before they began. She deleted her accounts, unable to handle the backlash. My mother tried a different approach. She started calling my work, telling my colleagues I was having a mental breakdown, that I was not stable, that I had stolen money from the family. My boss called me into her office looking concerned. Rose, I got a strange call from someone claiming to be your mother. She said some troubling things. I took a breath. I am dealing with a family issue. I have a restraining order in process. If anyone calls claiming to be my family, please do not give them any information. My boss nodded slowly. Are you safe? Do you need any support? I am safe, I said, and I am handling it. But thank you for asking. She smiled. Family is important, but so is your well-being. If you need time off or resources, let me know. The restraining order was granted. My family was legally prohibited from contacting me, coming near my home or workplace, or discussing me on social media. It felt like closing a door I should have locked years ago. Liam called to congratulate me. How does it feel? Lonely, I admitted, but also free. That is normal, he said. You just left an entire ecosystem. Even a toxic one leaves a hole when it is gone. Are you seeing anyone, a therapist? I am starting next week. Good. You are going to need support as you rebuild. And Rose, you are doing great. I did start therapy, twice a week, with a psychologist who specialised in family trauma. She helped me see the patterns I had been blind to, the gaslighting, the financial abuse, the parentification, the scapegoating. She gave me language for what had happened to me, and slowly, painfully, I started to heal. I also started to build a new life. I reconnected with friends I had neglected while managing my family's chaos. I joined a book club, started taking salsa lessons, booked a solo trip to Portugal. I opened a new savings account when no one else had access to and watched it grow. No one drained it. No one made surprise charges, just steady, beautiful growth. 6 months after Maui, Liam flew back to Los Angeles for business. We met for dinner at a rooftop restaurant downtown. You look different, he said. Lighter. I feel different, I said. I feel like myself. He smiled. I have been thinking about you, about that day at the airport, about how brave you were. I was not brave, I said. I was desperate. Sometimes those are the same thing. He reached across the table and took my hand. I do not want to move too fast, but I like you, Rose. I like the woman who walked away from everything familiar because she knew she deserved better. I like you too, I admitted. You saw me at my worst and did not run away. We started dating. It was different from anything I had known. He did not need me to fix him or fund him or mother him. He was a whole person who wanted to spend time with another whole person. We split bills, made plans together, respected each other's boundaries. It was healthy and equal, and sometimes I could not believe it was real. A year after the airport incident, I got promoted. Senior Marketing Director, a 30% raise. My boss shook my hand. You have really come into your own this year, Rose. Thank you for trusting me, I said, and I meant it. I used part of my raise to finally get that condo. Nothing huge, a 1-bedroom in Culver City, but it was mine. My name on the deed, my furniture, my rules. The day I got the keys, I stood in the empty living room and cried. Not sad tears, release tears, relief tears. I had done it. I had escaped. I had built something for myself. Liam helped me move in along with Melanie and other friends. We ordered pizza and drank beer and laughed. This is what family is supposed to feel like, Melanie said. People who show up, people who celebrate you. You deserve this, Rose. I know, I said. I finally know. I never heard from my biological family again. The restraining order expired after a year, but they did not reach out. I heard through mutual acquaintances that they had moved to Arizona, that my father had retired, that Jessica had gotten a job at a retail store. I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness. Just indifference. They were strangers who happened to share my day. Sometimes I think about that day at LAX. The slap, the coffee, the moment everything shattered. And I feel grateful. Grateful for the wake-up call. Grateful for the courage to walk away. Grateful for the life I built on the other side. If you are reading this and you see yourself in my story, if you are the family ATM, if you are the scapegoat, if you are lighting yourself on fire to keep everyone else warm, I want you to know something. You deserve better. You deserve to be loved for who you are, not what you can provide. You deserve relationships where give and take actually flows both ways. And you deserve the peace that comes with walking away from people who refuse to see your worth. It will be hard. It will be lonely. People will not understand. But on the other side of that fear is freedom. And freedom, I promise you, is worth every uncomfortable moment. So here is my question for you. Have you ever been the person everyone else leans on, but no one holds up? Have you ever had to choose between your own well-being and keeping the peace? What did you do? I want to hear your stories. Drop them in the comments. And if this resonated with you, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to hear more real stories about choosing yourself. Because we all deserve to put ourselves first sometimes. We all deserve our own first-class ticket to freedom.